Hi, my name is Vijitha and I will be teaching you about classical and operant conditioning. Classical conditioning includes two paired stimuli. There are four parts to classical conditioning: unconditioned stimuli, conditioned stimuli, unconditional response, and a conditioned response. This type of conditioning is involuntary because your body reacts to it without thinking. Operant conditioning is responding by one controlled stimuli. There are four parts for operant conditioning also: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment. This type of conditioning is voluntary because you learn to behave a certain way because of the stimuli. Here's an example of classical conditioning. It is springtime and the pollen from flowers causes you to sneeze. Soon you're sneezing at the mere sight of a flower, real or fake. The unconditioned stimuli is the stimuli which the body reacts to without being taught. In our example, the pollen from the flowers would be the unconditional stimuli. The unconditional response is the involuntary behavior caused by the unconditioned stimuli, such as sneezing in this case. The conditioned stimuli is a neutral stimuli which becomes linked to the unconditioned stimuli, which in this case would be any flower you see, whether it's real or fake. The conditioned response is the behavior associated with the conditioned stimuli, which in our example is sneezing, because you become conditioned to react this way due to the pollen from the real flower. Moving on to operant conditioning, the positive reinforcement reinforces or strengthens the already occurring behavior by adding a positive stimuli. For example, receiving a raise at work. Keyword raise. A negative reinforcement strengthens the behavior by removing an aversion or a negative stimuli, like taking medication to remove a headache. Remove a headache is a keyword. A positive punishment is when you add a negative stimuli to weaken a behavior. For instance, texting in class leads to getting a detention. Texting would be the behavior and detention would be the stimuli. Negative punishment is when you remove a positive stimuli to weaken a behavior, such as taking away privileges for coming late to work every day. The behavior you need to weaken is coming late to work, and the positive stimuli is the privileges, which are being taken away. Here's a chart which explains positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative reinforcement, and negative punishment well. First, check if you're strengthening or weakening a behavior. Next, check if you're adding a stimuli or taking away a stimuli. Schedules of reinforcement are rules when a reinforcement should be delivered. Here's another chart. First, determine if your reinforcement is predicted or unpredicted. Then, check if the reinforcement is based off of number of responses or the amount of time elapsed. A fixed ratio is reinforcing after a specific number of responses, like when a mother gives her child a piece of chocolate for every toy he puts away. A variable ratio is reinforcing after unpredictable number of responses. For example, at a casino, at a slot machine, you win sometimes after 3 quarters, sometimes after 15 quarters, and sometimes after 7 quarters. The every in this example emphasizes specific, and he puts away emphasizes responses. The sometimes in this example emphasizes unpredictable, and the 3 quarters, 15 quarters, and 7 quarters emphasizes the ratio or responses. A fixed interval is reinforcing after a specific amount of time has elapsed after the response. For instance, you get a paycheck every Tuesday. Every emphasizes the fixed part, and Tuesday emphasizes the interval or time. A variable interval is when you change the amount of time elapsed after response, such as when you go fishing. Sometimes it takes 1 hour to catch a fish, sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. The sometimes emphasizes the varied times, and 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 15 minutes emphasizes the interval or time elapsed. The end. Thank you for watching.